this. So again, y'all, today's different. Like we do this once a month. So Matt and I designed this in November of last year, this 3-day challenge to help you not just like download an app and get this thing going, but to help you guys maximize the platform, right? And so, guys, we're going to be doing this whole challenge using one software and one software only. That's all we got to do. And for anybody here that doesn't have it, this is a follow along thing. Okay. So I'm asking everybody here, first and foremost, introduce yourself in the comments section. Super excited to have everybody. Secondly, Alex, drop the link because this isn't just sit here and watch Q and Matt do the thing. We're doing this together. Okay. So I want everybody's commitment and really just get involved because this is going to be super fun, man. My goal is if you've never put a property under contract before, that you get all of the education tools and resources that are required to do this within the next 3 days. Just 3 days. That's all it should take for everybody here to get their first property under contract. Who wants to close their first contract in 3 days, man? Drop a one in the comments if that's you. So this is going to be a lot of fun, dude. And this is different. Like I said, I've been running this thing. November was when we started. We did it again. Matt helped me critique the whole challenge in January, and it's been literally like a 5 6 month hiatus since Matt's come back to do this because there's tons of things that are happening at Deal Machine in regards to features that they're adding, stuff that they're improvising on, things that they're making better, that they're improving. So there's so
Mhm.
much to kind of unpack. But I have a really special guest, and it's my good friend Matt. Dude, introduce yourself to everybody for me, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Q, first of all, thank you so much, man, for bringing me on. Always love teaming up with you. Hey, everybody, love to get involved. As Q had said, get involved in the chat. Let me know where you're based out of. I'd love to know kind of where you're at in your real estate journey as well. Or is it your first deal, which I would guess most of you are? Is it, have you done deals before? I'd love to know that too. I can get really, I want to bring the full playbook to A to Z here, no matter where you're at, meet you at your skill level. So, really, really excited to be doing this thing. I know, Q again teed me up. We've been around, just a little bit of background. We've been around for almost 10 years now, which is mind blowing to think about. I mean, Q's known us since like the beginning. I mean, he's known David, our CEO and co-founder, I think since basically day one. So, been a ride or die with us for a long time. We've evolved. We're night and day, I'd say different than day one because we're always listening to you guys and listening to seeing what's working for you, evolving in that way, listening to you, saying, hey, you're telling us, I wish you had this, I wish you had that. Awesome. Like that is how we're a small, nimble team that is continuing to always innovate, always stay ahead of everything, always be putting out new stuff and continuing to deliver to you guys. So excited to say we've had almost 15,000 deals done at this point using Deal Machine. Want everybody on here to be that next one, keep adding to that number. And yeah, that's the playbook we bring to it. We're really proud to say we're the highest rated and most reviewed app out there to go find off market deals like this. That is what we look at and listen to is where are the deals coming from? How are people using it today? How are people having success? And that's what we designed the challenge off of. So Q, we're ready to go, man. I'm pumped for this.
Dude, I'm excited, bro. And guys, really, round of applause for my friend Matt taking time out of his schedule to join us for these next 3 days.
No
Because
problem, man.
day
Yeah,
one, we're going to go over strictly how to maximize our list. So we're going to give you guys homework at the end of each individual day. And we're going to tee this up, right? So, guys, just understand this. We're giving away three things toward the end of this challenge. The first thing that we're going to give away is super valuable. It's like $1,200 worth of value. It's a year with Deal Machine, which is fire. So that'd be one thing that we're giving away. Second thing that I'm giving away on my side, y'all know I own a data company. I'm giving away 100,000 skip trace leads. That's number two. That is a $15,000 giveaway. Third thing that I'm giving away is lifetime access to my private community, y'all. So this is
that's
going to be
awesome.
super awesome. But for y'all to be able to enter into this, we're going to give you homework. Only the ones who have actually done the homework all 3 days will be able to enter into the raffle, which at the end, I'm going to spin a wheel of everybody that was actually involved. And we're going to get three lucky winners and we're going to give away these prizes. It's going to be super fun, man. So, guys, without further ado, we're going to just jump straight into it. The most important thing, in my opinion, is lead generation. Now, lead generation is the beginning stages of a company. Okay, so anybody that's in here, if you're asking me what the day should look like, okay, this is it. This is four pieces to one big puzzle. Number one is marketing. That's building your list, that's cold calling, that's texting, that's leaving voicemails, that's getting through your list, right? So, number one, you won't have anybody to talk to if you don't know who to talk to. So, we're gonna help you guys out with kind of building out different types of niche lists and give y'all some homework with that, okay? So, again, number one is marketing. Number two is fulfillment. That's actually knowing how to make an offer, okay? That's actually knowing how to put a property under contract. Number three is disposition, which is essentially finding investors. And then number four is organization. And that is the systematic approach to how this thing can keep going from marketing, fulfillment, disposition, organization. Marketing, fulfillment, disposition, organization. Those are the four pieces of a real estate company, guys. And so we're going to start first with the basics and we're going to create a plan around this. So, Matt, I would just love to give the opportunity to showcase it and let everybody know what we can do today using Deal Machine. So, guys, there's a link in the comment section. This is a follow along thing, y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna have Alex drop a link. Sign up for the 7-day free trial. You're gonna want to stay afterwards. But during this time frame over the next 3 days, not only are we gonna be doing this, right? We're gonna repeat it. So after the third day, don't just stop. Go back to day one and then do this again. This whole entire session's recorded, and this challenge will be uploaded to my YouTube channel. Which, Alex, if you can go ahead and drop the YouTube link in the comment section before, make sure that you guys subscribe to your boy's YouTube. Okay. So, Matt, I'm going to give you free range at this point, man, because I've been teaching this
Yep.
for the last 5 months. I just want to see what's new, you know? So let's jump into this.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So what I'll mention too, I saw a few people mention like, oh, I've done a free trial before, or if they're looking to like upgrade or anything like that. I'll just throw my email in the chat right there for you guys. Feel free, like consider me part of your team. I want to be able to come in here and really give you guys hand holding where you can come in and go through these 3 days, like Hugh had said. It's going to be interactive. We want you to be successful these 3 days, yes, but then also way beyond that. Like use this as the foundation to in a turning point for you beyond here. So yeah, man, you get a whole team. We are here to help you guys out. Keep getting involved in the chat. Love for you all to network with each other. We've done these challenges before where people have come out of it meeting future business partners, meeting future money partners, cash buyers. Like use this as a community, a networking opportunity, and then Q, you've got your community as well too. So we're giving you a ton of free resources. Yes, we're incentivizing you guys to get active involved, like the people who are actually following through and not just listening on today, but actually doing. Those are the ones that are going to be winning the prizes. Those are the ones that are going to be getting the most out of this. But then way after this too, you've got us, you've got, I'm going to be sharing resources throughout, and then you've got Q's community as well. So all the above, like we're just trying to set you guys up for success here. So
Amen.
um, yeah. So as Q had mentioned today, what I'll go through is we have a variety of strategies of how do you go out there and identify the real opportunities in any market. And in general, I wish I could say like, oh, there's this silver bullet list. You do this one little thing, and it's going to be the shortcut, the cheat code to everything. It's more about a process, a framework, you going out there and going step by step through this thing, where I will teach you. I'd rather not just hand you a fish. I'd rather teach you to fish, right? I want you to come out of this with that framework in a repeatable way, so you know all of the strategies that are going to be most valuable for you. There's a couple different ones to approach that I'm going to lay out for you guys today, give you a full deep dive training. If you follow along with us, you go to the link that Alex had shared and you actually go click for click with me. A ton of you will actually finish the homework today, like literally before the end of the hour, like have their homework done and ready to go. Which Q, did you say to turn in the homework? Or is there do you want to give instructions there on where they're going to be posting it to? Um,
Absolutely. So, Alex, I think we developed a form for everyone already, right? So we could just drop that into the comment section. We'll do that closer to the end of the call.
yeah,
We reiterate
awesome,
what the homework looks like, but
perfect,
stay
perfect.
tuned, guys, 'cause it's going to be great. Like we're going to dive into this today.
Amazing. So I'm going to go through not just theory, but I'm going to give you guys click for click. Here's what to do. Here's how to use the software. Here's how to use the tech to go find deals. And then again, we've got you set up with a free trial to coincide with this so we can give you as much free as possible and then give you that chance to win, again, tens of thousands of dollars of prizes through this thing. So my goal today, I want to start off with saying like, hey, yes, step one is to build a high performing list, right? A list of addresses in any market to reach out to go direct to seller, to go find those deals that have not raised their hand and said, hey, I want to go the retail route. I want to go list my property. Like you're finding the people who have problems and maybe not a solution that you can come in and be that solution for them, right? So I want to help you identify what those people look like in any market. But there's a couple ways you can go do it. And in the end, like going out there and not just having some big broad list that everyone else has access to or everyone else is marketing to, like if you go that route, that is, you can get deals that way, but it's going to be the least effective, right? Lowest response rates, most marketing budget, most time spent going that route. What I want to give you guys is that system, that process to follow to build those niche unique lists that are unique to you, that only you have, that are a reason why a lot of these strategies are proven over years is because they work. And it's I want to give you those strategies to go out there and, again, not just be theory, but go step for step with me today on those. So what I'll do to kind of iterate or kind of show this to you guys today as we go through this thing, let me try to share my screen here. I can actually show the technology and show you this here. And hopefully, I know I've had a few screen share issues with Zoom lately, so let me try this. Q, have you had any Zoom issues lately, by the way?
I haven't, not yet,
Okay.
but hopefully not.
Maybe I need to update mine. Yeah, hold on, let me try to screen share again. Let's see. It's not your guys' end, it's my side. As I'm doing this, keep getting involved in the chat here, guys. I love seeing we had people jump in, say it's their first deal. Again, love to see people getting fired up, ready to go find deals in the chat here. Um, let's see here. Q's, I get this fired up as well. I do want to start off by saying there is for everybody on here, there are kind of two main strategies I want to touch on today in terms of how to go find deals, how to build that list, how to go direct to seller and find the most unique lists possible out there. There's the side that's focused on saving you time, right? It's focused on, hey, go out there and use data to be able to build a list as effectively as possible. I'll teach you that route. And then there's the other side of this is, hey, maybe if you have a little more hustle, a little more time on your hands, a little bit more, you can go, the route of being able to go build the list one by one. There's the driving for dollars route. And doing a combination of these two things is what we see being most successful, of pulling lists based on data and then supplementing those lists with driving for dollars leads. But think about that first and foremost, is the driving for dollars route is kind of the hustle route of going out there and spending a little more time, finding the most unique leads, the most niche list in your market that no one else has. The other side of it is using data to build a list, and I will teach you again that process, so that way you're not just going in and saying, "Hey, show me, absentee owners," and that's it. Like, I want to show you, "Hey, here's what's working in today's market." So, um, man, the screen share is, oh, here we go. It's just very slow on me. Hold on, let me try again. Can you let me know if you can see this here? Hey, there we go.
Yes,
Nice.
we're
Okay,
on.
perfect. Cool. Awesome, guys. Yell at me if any other Zoom issues come up. But
Be
all
fine.
right. So put in the chat, tell me if you guys think, hey, would you consider yourself somebody who wants to be a little more active, put a little more hustle into it, really focus on finding those most high performing leads in your market, the driving for dollars route? Or are you somebody who's like, hey, yeah, I want to go find deals, but maybe I want to be a little more passive with my approach, and focus on the list building route using data. So again, the most successful people we see, I'm going to teach you both sides of this. The most successful people we see are doing a combination of both of these strategies, but I'd love to know where you think your head is at. So there we go. Hybrid, amazing. D for D, awesome. Yep, Mr. I love that. More hustle. There we go. Fantastic. Great. There we go. Every day I'm hustling. There we go, Brian. Love it. So good stuff, guys. So we'll go through both of these routes for you. The homework is going to be focused on building those opportunities, building that list, right? Regardless of which strategy or both if you're using. But I want to make you a pro at both of these things. So I'll start with the D for D side. Going finding leads by hand there, and then I'll move over to the list building side. So Q, can you talk a little bit about? I know driving for dollars is something that, like, that's what you originally found us
Yeah.
for. Can you talk about your history there and why that's such a powerful strategy?
So, dude, it's so crazy, right? So I get a call from David Lecko, who's the CEO and founder of Deal Machine, right? I had just blown up on YouTube. So my guy reached out to me and he was like, yo, dude, I need to meet you. Like, I like you. You got charisma. And I said, okay, come through. And he was like, all right, bet. I'll fly in tomorrow. So my dude booked a flight and came to my office the next day with
He's
his
like
camera
that, man.
guy. me and his camera guy vibed so heavily because he was into anime and we were all binge watching Naruto in the office while making cold calls, right? So I had my whole team, we were all cold calling, and David's like, "Well, look, man, download this app," right? And so we download the app, we hop in my car, and he's just like, "So check this out. It's a driving for dollars app." I said, "What?" Yeah, because I've only ever driven for dollars the hood way, right? And I'm telling you guys, I started out walking for dollars. So I'm like walking down the street writing addresses down. I don't know about you guys, but that's where I was at a point in time because gas was so expensive. I was on three spare tires and I bought a freaking Ford 2001. It was on three spare tires. It was just broken down and I was afraid to drive it that far. So, at the time, this was like taboo to me to just like have an app and literally just be able to drive for dollars with ease. So Deal Machine allows you to do that. If you guys download the app, you can do that. So there's a house in the hood. I've been passing by it for years. And I just always seen it vacant, never thought anything of it, just drove by it on my way to my office. I pull up to the crib and he's just like, "All right, let's look it up." I look it up. We skip trace it on the site. I called the guy and he wanted to sell me his house. I put that property under contract for like $78,000 and I wholesaled it for a little over 102, 103. I made $23,000, David, come into my office. Literally. And I got the whole thing on
Awesome.
camera. And that's what's so
Mhm.
beautiful about it. Like legit, it was on camera. So that's how crazy it is. So Alex actually has that replay. I'll drop it in the
Yeah.
comments section so you guys can take a look at that. But it's definitely something that was just mind-boggling. So yeah, driving for dollars is great. I'm team driving for dollars all day, but Deal Machine has evolved since then. It is an
Mhm.
entirely different platform on a whole nother spectrum that includes what I used to use it for, plus some. So I'm
Yep.
just really excited. Keep going.
Yeah, so we've leveled up. We have what you're talking about, traditional driving for dollars. We've got virtual driving. We've got AI assisted driving for dollars. So I'll talk you through each strategy here, guys. But and again, we're going to be giving a lot of information here today. So I know we're going to be sending out the replay. Please, feel free to take notes, but you also get the replay there. The big thing is acting because hey, going out there, we're going to give you all these options. We're going to give you these strategies. Follow me for the virtual drive. Follow me for building the list. Like there's a lot of things you'll come out of with today that you can have done already. But the big thing is, hey, regardless, even if you don't know, hey, I'm not a pro at any of these strategies yet, leading by doing is where you're going to learn the most. Like leading with action, leading by going out there and just starting to build that list, just starting to talk to sellers, just starting to reach out via marketing. Like follow us these 3 days, complete the homework, and you are going to come out in an amazing spot and maybe with some deals like Q had said going into that, which the video, yeah, there you go. There's the YouTube video. It is truly mind blowing. Like it is a pro at work right there. And it was cool to see David just hand him the app and say, hey, go try this out and literally do a deal in front of you. So um, to go through this the traditional drive for dollars way like that, the reason why it's so powerful is that at any given time, there's a massive opportunity. It's like an estimated 15, 16 million vacant homes in the US at any given time. And these properties, like these fixer-uppers, they're the least competitive leads because they don't always show up in the data in other ways. And they're the number one indicator that it's a motivated seller is the condition of the property. So if you find properties that are fixer-uppers that aren't in good shape, that is the number one indicator that someone's looking to sell sooner than later. And again, that is a data point that doesn't always show up in other ways. And so it's something that's been around forever. We didn't invent driving for dollars. We just gave you technology to make this way more efficient and effective and continue to tweak it to make it better and better to make this easier and easier for you guys. So you'll see with the homework, even getting to a hundred or even a couple hundred driving for dollars leads, like that is a massive predictor of future success. If you can go out there and go find properties that have a tarp on the roof, gutters falling off, broken board up windows, front yard, backyard's a mess, like any indicators like that that it's being neglected in any way, go build that list. And whether you're doing it in real life, which what you're seeing here is the desktop version, but you get a mobile app as well. So if you're doing it in real life, pull out the mobile app, let it lock on your location, and drive around and literally drive and look for those properties in any neighborhood. On desktop, again, I'll show you virtual and AI as well, helping you drive for dollars. But the whole goal here is to have it lock onto your location, which I'm out of St. Louis, so let me search St. Louis here. And what you're looking at is the Deal Machine map here, right? So this is the desktop version, and the mobile looks very similar, except for obviously squeeze down on your phone, right? But here we go. So we'll use this for driving for dollars. Great. It'll lock on your location. You'll see a little blue dot pop up, right? Just like you would with GPS. As you drive down the street on your mobile app, it's going to move with you. So you're going to see that drive down the street with you. If you see a property in real life is not in great shape, say 1580 right here, Louisville Avenue is not in great shape. Again, that's what we're looking for, those properties that are physically distressed, because that is the number one indicator that they're looking to sell sooner than later. Just tap on that property. Don't overthink it. Tap on that property, tap add lead. It'll turn that black button or that black pin to a blue dot right here, and that means you've added the lead, and you keep going. As simple as that. Tap on the property, tap add lead, and keep going. Now, this is like the most straightforward version. That's what you would have to do back in the days. You'd have to, drive around, write down addresses, try to figure out how to get in touch with that person. Like we would take a process that would take 30 plus minutes and turn it into a few seconds right here, right? And so you tap on that button on that circle, tap add lead, turn it blue, and then keep going. A couple pro tips, real quick here. As you drive around, to let you know, on the map options, you have things like satellite view to be able to see the satellite images of properties. That makes it a little easier to kind of track where you're at. You'll see route tracking as well. So as you drive around, you'll see a little blue tail pop up behind you that at 6 months turns red, and then in a year or at 6 months turns yellow, then in a year turns red, rather. And so you can look at the map and see where have I been and how long's it been, and let me go redrive there. And it just makes you way more efficient and effective to cover entire areas, right? And then finally, this tap to add mode is super helpful because as you drive down the street, you're going to see properties. You might see a couple in a row that you want to add. Tap to add makes it so you literally tap and then it adds it for you as it sounds like. So it just turns them blue, great, and then keep going. So use all of those things to kind of help you out, get better and better at this. I might even recommend throwing a filter on there. I don't want to get too deep in the data because the list building piece of what we're going to go into does that. But it might be worth throwing on a filter like high equity, for example. I know I love that here in St. Louis. You don't have to, that's just one example. But when you throw on a filter, you'll start to see highlights pop up around you too. So as you drive around, you'll see all these houses that are highlighted that fit that criteria, right? And so, that's another great indicator that, hey, if it's in bad shape and it's highlighted, great. That's an awesome lead. Make sure to add that one. Focus on that as a high priority. So,
Yo, this is new. I did not when I teach this, I have not taught this, bro. This is why having people from the freaking company is so important. I didn't even know you could do that. Okay, go ahead.
dude, check this out. Not only that, see this heat map? This is brand new as well. So you can literally go in and if you want to say, hey, show me the areas of town where like a lot of transactions are happening, right? Show me the recently sold properties. It'll go through and show you the heat maps of, oh, you know what? This area is pretty hot. This area is pretty hot. Let me see where I could find cash buyers because a lot of transactions are happening, right? So this is an awesome, awesome way. If you're trying to figure out like where do I go drive or where do I go look for deals, go where the action is, look at this heat map, and it's going to give you, this is within the last like month, brand new. This has like been awesome to play with here. So
Game changing, dude. Game changing.
there we go. So I know there's a lot of action in the chat. Love that. Do you see any questions that are burning questions that you want me to answer, or I can keep going?
Let's keep going and we'll answer questions toward the end. Right.
Perfect. Cool.
People are asking if there's a way to drive for dollars virtually. Guys, there is an
That's the
app
next step.
you can download, and we're going to show y'all right now. So this is going to be
Yep.
great.
So you have in-person D for D, you have virtual as well. So I saw somebody in the chat say like Google Street Image is a way to do that. Absolutely. Like think about Google Street Image, but way more valuable because you've got all the data you need outside of just the picture, right? Like you can go in and when you click on this top left corner, start driving. Here, let me zoom in here. You click on start driving, this orange button, then you click anywhere on the street, start driving here. And now you're going to get those images right in front of you laid over your deal machine account. And so this is where we can look and do the same exact idea of looking for those houses that have, a tarp on the roof. Again, here's somebody working on the roof right here. Nice. Gutters falling off. Again, broken board up windows. The front yard, backyard's a mess. Signs of vacancy, like really overgrown grass, really, overstuffed mailboxes. Here's an awning that's, in mess shape. Things like that, where if you see a property that looks like it could be a good lead, You just hit that add lead button. You've got all kinds of data that you can dig into about these properties here, which again, focus on the condition of the property. We'll talk about data later, but you've got all of this here. So it's think of it like a street view image, but next level and just able to take action on these images, not just view the images, right? And so, this is all right there for you as well. My biggest pro tip here is you can go in and actually compare like click on a property and see, hey, when was this last sold, right? So if it's recently sold within a certain amount of time, I'd say within the last 2 to 3 years, I would probably not consider that one anymore because Google Street Image comes by every few years to be able to drive neighborhoods in the vast majority of major cities here. So if it was sold since 2024, maybe 23, I would say, hey, that image is probably a little outdated, might have had some work done to it since then. But if it's older than that, hasn't sold in a while, great. That's a good lead. Just add the lead and keep going. So awesome. So that's strategy two right there. So you've got in-person D for D, you've got virtual D for D. The virtual is great too if you have like a virtual assistant or if you are going to drive for dollars somewhere that you're not physically based in, right? Or you can't get out during the day to drive around, or there's a million reasons you might not have a car to drive around. That's okay. Hey, there might be a million reasons why you don't or can't want to drive for dollars. Here's a great alternative there with the virtual D for D. Um, Final D4D piece I want to talk through. I mentioned AI, and we're always iterating. We've got AI within this list building, driving for dollars. We've got AI within our dialer. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We've got AI within property analysis. We'll talk about that on the third day. But for today, the list building, driving for dollars AI portion, you'll notice we have this little AI vision builder down here. And this is something, again, we've continued to refine it. We launched it. I can't even remember if it was live last time we did this, Q, but
No,
we
it
launched it
was.
like very, very end of last year into early this year. Again, always refining this as well. And it's an idea we've had forever, but AI is finally effective enough to pull this off and cheap enough to pull this off and be actually worthwhile, right? But what you can do within Deal Machine is you can actually go the next level and say, hey, I want to look at the street view images. I want to go virtual drive for dollars, a whole area, but I don't want to spend all this time clicking through and doing the mundane task of it. Like, how do I do this quickly and use, cutting edge tech to help me? And so what you could do within Deal Machine here, this top left corner, when you click on start drawing, this little draw symbol, you can click on that. You can choose any area. So, we'll just cut out this slice of South City right here. So cool. Got this right here. You'll see at the bottom, I got 102 properties I'm looking at. Great. Got this little area that I want to go virtual drive for dollars and save myself a ton of time by doing this. Once you've drawn around that area, right? This next step is the Try AI Vision Builder. So you pop that open. AI Vision is our AI assistant. We've built in Alma, like the Alma machine. That's how we got the name. Alma, that is in, again, the list builder. It's in our dialer. It's in our property analysis. We'll talk about those later. But within the list building right here, Alma, what we've teed it up for is to listen to any prompt you tell it to do about the property itself. So it looks at the property data, it looks at the consumer info of who owns that property. It looks at the images, it looks like at the street view and satellite images of the property. So it takes all of that into account and you can prompt it with anything you like. We've seen people get super creative with it. My number one use case, my number one favorite is this AI driving for dollars approach, is where you can come in here and tell it to look at the images and tell me, great, which of these images are good driving for dollars leads? Like which ones are fixer uppers? Like use the AI assistant to do this for me in a matter of seconds rather than having to go through and click and view every single image. And so I will say it does cost 2 cents per property to analyze it. So this is like, hey, if you're trying to go the least budget possible, I would say go through and physically drive for dollars or virtually drive. But if you want to spend a very minimal amount to be able to buy back your time a little bit right here, this route I would consider. So this distressed properties button, all you need to do is click on that. We have already preset the prompt to be able to give you a really good result for essentially telling the AI how to drive for dollars right here. And what it does is, if anybody put in the chat, if you use like Chat GPT or any AI tools right now, I'd love to know what AI tools you're using. And even if you want to put how you're using it too, that'd be great. I mean, we've got a lot of smart people on here. I'd love to hear if we could crowdsource some pretty good tips here. But the example here that we've really tested out quite a bit in all kinds of different markets is give this AI a prompt saying, hey, look at these satellite and street view images, like I mentioned. So it has access to that data. And then it has access to the property data, owner data, all that. Then, you give it instructions. Look for things like neglected landscaping, structural damage, broken roofs, boarded up windows, general disrepair. Look for a good driving for dollars lead. So you're kind of defining for it what is a good driving for dollars lead. So you're saying, hey, go use this, go do this, right? So you're giving it that context and then score it in this way. Properties don't have to have all of this, but the more the better, right? So like the more distress, the higher the score for a lead. And you're giving it all this instruction. We've seen the big pro tip I can share here is for your market, if you have anything that really stands out as what a good driving for dollars lead could be, physically, literally type that in. So you could say, like, for example, in Q's market in San Antonio, if there's a lot of pools or something, say, hey, look for empty pools in the backyard, things like that. Whatever would fit your particular market, you can customize it in that way, right? And then you can see again, it's 2 cents a property. So for 102 properties, it'll cost you $2.04 to go and run this whole list. And so you simply hit build with vision, confirm, and now it's going to take that prompt, look at all the data, look at the images like I instructed it to do, look for those factors that I instructed it to find. We'll see how much distress comes back in this area. Didn't necessarily pick an area with a ton of distress, but here we go. So and then it's going to start to pick those needles out of the haystack of what does a good lead look like, run that against it, and now you've got your kind of third option versus in-person D for D, virtual D for D. This is AI D for D. So, Q, any thoughts?
Dude, I'm just blown away because I haven't even taught any of this. This is great. Keep going, dude. This is dope.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, dude, it's fun, man. I mean, we're always improving and we're always listening to you guys on, hey, I'd love to have this prompt or make it easier to do this or that. So keep putting in the chat. I'd love to hear your thoughts there. I'll try to get to as many as possible by the end here. But driving for dollars, whether you're doing in person, virtual, or AI, any of those strategies, that is going to give you, again, the number one performing list, the number one indicator of a motivated seller is the condition of the property. And also, they're the least competitive leads because they don't always show up with any other data point. This is step one. If you're going to go the hustle route, highly recommend training yourself to do driving for dollars and going out there and doing it. So make sure to, again, I know we're going to send out the replay to this. I know I gave a ton of info. I'm giving you a couple different options. Go rewatch that, but don't overthink it. Get out there and just look for those distressed properties to start off with. So awesome. That's strategy one. So that's kind of, again, the hustle side, best bang for your buck. The other side of this is, hey, you know what? I want to come out of here and I want to build a great list using data, save a ton of time because I can literally come out of this call today with my homework done. Great. And then go move on to the next phase, which is actually reaching out to sellers. And so, again, our most successful people, they're doing both strategies. I'm doing both in St. Louis. Whenever I go through every single quarter and analyze which list is performing best, driving for dollars wins every time. But you can also find a ton of deals using data and going out there and reaching out using really the strategy is this process I want to teach you. It's going in here and there's really three phases to building a great list that I want to teach you today. So that way you don't just come in here and say, hey, you know what, just pull me a list of go to quick filters and pull me a list of absentee owners and then just hope there's a deal in there. There are deals in there, but if you want to get the most bang for your buck, the most use out of your time, the most use out of your marketing budget, if you're going to reach out using mail or anything like that, this is the way to think about it. So everybody in here, I love to, again, Q talked about making this interactive, right? So maybe some of you are already virtual driving for dollars. Awesome. You're working towards your homework. Again, you may have caught on your homework's going to be coming out of here with a list ready to go for tomorrow, right? Like we're going to find, actually, not just think about finding deals, we're going to go find deals, right? So, the goal today is to continue to take action on this front. I would love for you guys to pull up your own and follow me in terms of the process of learning how to build this list. Because again, there's three main phases that we really want to teach you guys here. There's a baseline of data. Then you layer on the second phase, which will be property characteristic data, which I'll talk through. And then the final phase, which is seller motivation data. So each of these phases, I want to teach you guys deep dive on each one, come out of it with you having your list ready to go. So to actually demonstrate this, I'd love if we have one person, first one, to put a zip code in the chat. Somebody put a zip code. I know we got 76 people in here, so we'll see who's fast on the keyboard. First one, help me find that first one here. Q, was it Caleb here? It looks like, at least on my screen.
Let's see. We have
Caleb Matthews.
40506.
Yes. Yep. Yep. So I love the effort here, everybody. Appreciate you all jumping in there with the zip codes. But here we go, Caleb. We're gonna use you as the kind of the example here. So I'll show you guys for Caleb and for everyone else the exact process of how to go out there and build this list. So here's the interactive portion. Follow along with me on how to again build each layer, and then I'll try to leave some time here for Q&A, Quentin as well. So
Okay.
um, cool. So as you guys have gotten a little bit familiar with here, this is the map on Deal Machine, right? We're on the desktop. You can do this on the mobile as well, but I think it's a lot easier on desktop for the list building side. The top bar is the filter bar. So I was using that a little bit when I was showing you guys highlights and things like that, within the map. But these filters, there's seller motivations, property types, price points, bed, bath, and then a more button that really is kind of our catch-all filter. We've got 700 plus data points to work with, like everything from, about the consumer themselves, about the mortgage info, equity information, about the land, the tax info, sale history, rehab costs, liens, I mean, HOAs, all kinds of stuff to dig into here. And what I'm going to show you here is how to think through this data. The right-hand side, you'll notice that's going to continue to update. That's just browsing all the properties that fit, what criteria we have in there, right? And then this bottom bar is the number of properties that fit your criteria at any given time. And so, we're going to go through with Caleb's zip code it was 40506, right, Q?
Yes, 40506.
Perfect. Oh, is this on campus? Shoot. Hopefully, I'm reading that out right. We might need another example here, Caleb. Lexington. Let's just do Lexington. So you said Lexington. Let's do it. Let's do that, guys. So ideally, you can do it one zip code. If not, you can look at an entire city or county this way. Lexington. Here we go. So Lexington, perfect. All right. Yeah, 115,000. That sounds more accurate. Here we go. Perfect. So again, you can look at an entire city or zip code with this data, right? So city or county, even if you want to get really, really broad. So city, county, or zip code. For your homework, the end goal here, Q, did we settle on about 200 properties here or 200 to 500? Or I want to make sure I really align with the homework that you're preaching here.
Give or take, we like to at least do 200 leads per list type, so like we'll
Cool.
stack different indicators together to help
Yeah.
people out with getting different types of motivation.
Exactly. Yep. So we'll go through this list stacking process here together. So as Q had mentioned, our end goal here is to get you in that range of 200, at least 200 leads, ideally 200 to 500. That's really a sweet spot that we've seen. There are deals in that list when you follow this process, right? Like you're stacking data and you're making the probability higher and higher and higher that this person's looking to sell sooner than later. So there's deals in that list, but it's also small enough that you can really actively market to the entire list, which is crucial. Like everything when we look at the data, you could pull a list. I mean, we could pull all 115,000 properties right here, right? And maybe reach out to all of them once, and there will be deals obviously in that list, but man, it's going to be very hard to manage that and really, unless you've got a massive marketing budget, like you're going to need to get way more strategic than that. And so that's what our goal is to help you find that sweet spot where it's a big enough list that it's effective, but small enough that you can really actively market to it. So for everybody in the chat here, start with that zip code or a city or county even. But most people on here, I'd say start with the zip code. The great thing is when you follow this process, regardless of the area you choose, you're going to have the right process to get to that sweet spot list size here. So cool. So Caleb, we got the area, we got Lexington here for everybody. That this baseline, phase one, baseline of data, it is area, like we just put in. It is off market. So we want to eliminate all the on market listed properties that, that's already, we don't want to go for those. And then it's property type. So I'm assuming, Caleb, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm assuming everybody or most people in here are looking at single family, but Caleb, tell me if I'm off base there. To go off market, look at quick filters, everybody. At the very bottom, you see off market. We got like 30 plus seller motivations in there. Off market is one of those. So click on off market. Now we're down to 110,000 properties. So you're starting to see the heat mapping come in. And then property type, we're looking at single family. So let me see, single and multi. So working it, yeah, cool. I love it, Caleb. Well, we'll stick to single just because I think most people in here are single, single family here. But correct me if I'm wrong if we've got a bunch of multifamily people in here too. So. Um, awesome. So off market, single family, we're already whittling that down. So we had 115,000, we're down to 79,000. And you're seeing the heat map kind of shift as I do that, right? Like we're starting to list stack. We're starting to stack on data points and get closer and closer and closer to a high probability list that people are looking to sell sooner than later. So the initial baseline, everybody in here, try to catch up with me if you want to finish the homework literally as we go through this thing and enter for the giveaway. By the end of this end of the 3 days, start off with area, off market, single family. Next layer would be great. We've got that. Now I want to think about the property itself, property characteristics. So if you have any specifics, Caleb, throw in the chat if you have anything around a certain buy box you're looking at. Things like price point would fall in there, things like bed bath. For me, a couple, there's two main data points that everybody on here should have. It is year built and last sale date. Those two things are super, super helpful. So year built meaning like the property itself, is it an older build? Like we want to get rid of the new builds, right? Because they are way less likely to be in shape where we're coming in and trying to acquire, and especially if you're going to wholesale the property, like you got to find those fixer uppers, right? So year built, it's a great just baseline factor for everybody in here. So you're built under my filters. Great. We'll say it's less than or equal to, let's put in like 2010, just eliminate again the newer builds. And now we're down to 73,000. There we go. Perfect. I'd love to see, let me check the chat here. Okay, there we go. So over 2 bed, 1 bath at least, year build, try to stay under 1960. Nice. All right, let's adjust this to Caleb's fit here. Awesome. Love that you're thinking this through, Caleb. And you can have older properties like this too. Great. In St. Louis, I actually kind of like a range where they're not like too crazy old that you're dealing with a lot of headaches of like the very, very old properties, but also not new either. So you can build a window too if you want to do that. Um, Again, anytime we search for data, it's that we were clicking on more and then we continue to search in here. So I found that again. Let me show you one more time. I found that under more filters. I searched by year built right here. And then I went less than or equal to 1960s. That way we know it is older than that. Great. Down to 19,000 properties on a great, great spot there. Um, Caleb, you'd mentioned 2 bed, 1 bath or more. So let's type that, let's put that in. Got two, at least a 2-1 going. Great. Now we're down to 10,000 properties. Awesome. We're continuing to get closer and closer to that perfect lead for you guys. And then prefer not to go over 360K. Great. We got a price cap. So you can go to price. The maximum was 360. Awesome. Let's see what we get here. 6,636. We're doing great here. This is fantastic, Caleb. So we've got all that right there from phase one and phase two. We've got, off market, single family, got our price cap, got our bed bath, got our year built in there. I talked about last sale date. I'll get to that in a second. But Q, any thoughts on what we're looking at so far? Any tweaks you would make? Love to hear your thoughts here.
Well, there's always so like this is the thing. I like niching down so hard, right? So that's essentially what Matt is showing you guys. We're stacking indicators to create a more high probability lead. The goal here isn't to market to 20,000, 50,000 absentee owners. That's not what we want. What we're doing right now is we're identifying motivation indicators that could essentially translate to someone who's genuinely interested in having a conversation with you. This business is 90% meaningful conversations, y'all. And the more that we're able to double down on these things, the easier that it's going to be for us to convert. So this is great, man. At this point, we just add on, you know? So go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, and I think great question from Caleb saying like, "Hey, is the year too old?" You know, the biggest thing I can give for you guys is there's kind of an art and a science to this, right? Like there's no perfect list. It's more about following the framework. And so what I would say is if you put in a data point and it drops it to 0 or it drops it to 50 or something really really low, hey, you know what? Either move on from that data point, eliminate that one, or ease up on it. Like I think 1960, we're still at 6,600 properties. We're in a good spot. If it had dropped it to 100 properties, then hey, you know what, it's probably too old, let's ease it up a little bit, right? So there's kind of an art and a science to it here. The science is following the process. The art is tweaking each little piece of the each factor to come to that high probability list here, that intersection of the data.
Hmm.
So great question there, Caleb. um I mentioned last sale date. That's another one I really, really like. The longer somebody's had a property, especially if it's like 7+ years, it skyrockets the probability they're looking to sell it. So what you do here is again, we're stacking the list. We want it to fit this and this and this, right? We want to narrow the list size, or would make it broader, this or this, right? And makes it more narrow, and this and this and this and this. So click on and search last sale date right here. I'm going to do more than 7 years because, again, that's a high statistical probability or much higher. We see a big breaking point there of probability goes up that they're looking to sell sooner than later. And awesome, we're at 2,346 properties. There's the heat map, kind of Lexington wide for you. So, yeah, Q, we've upgraded the how quick the map is too by like 10x the last few months here. So that's how we were even able to do the heat mapping here citywide that quickly. So um,
Yeah.
hopefully people have noticed that. um, cool. And now again, phase one, you had that baseline of data. Phase two, property characteristics like this. Put in the chat if you're following along. Put in the chat. I'd love to know. I want to make sure you guys are following along, getting that homework done here. Phase three is going in there and thinking about seller motivations. So what can we layer on here that makes it more timely? It makes it more, skyrockets the probability that they're looking to sell sooner than later. And if you don't know what seller motivation to work with, hey, you know what? We've got a quick filter menu right here that's got a ton of them. And so, Q, is there any like right off the bat that you think are super powerful or you really like to work?
My favorites,
Mhm.
senior tax delinquent properties.
Yep, love that one. So, one pro tip: the match all button is what we want here because it's got to match everything, right? We're niching down. We want to do that. Tax delinquent. Let's see, we might get a little low. Let's see. Yep, and again, say this happens where you drop to 0. You know what? Hey, that's okay. Back out of it. You've got a lot of other options. It's about the process. There isn't that perfect list. It's about the process over just picking one data point here. So, um,
I would
Q.
run absentee, owned, vacant.
Let's
Off
see.
market is already on there, right? So then let's see how many of them don't live there, and then how
Yep.
many of those are now vacant.
Yep, absentee vacant, boom, 55.
That's
That I
perfect.
that's great. There we go. So we got 55 right there. Absentee alone was 1,000. Yeah. So absentee and vacant, great. That's 55. You could even do like absentee, and again, I like high equity. So that'll give you 788. That's another option here. So one great one. Let's see. You said vacant. Where did that go? Vacant. Here we go. So you've got 55 properties. Caleb, I'd highly recommend pulling that list. And again, you'll notice with your guys' homework here, that's not the entire homework assignment, but you're well on your way. So build list, confirm build, amazing. You've got 55 properties that are super high quality, great stack of all of this data right here, right?
What you'll see as well, guys, is that there's a tag on each individual leads. The deal machine's already done a lot of the work to
Hmm.
identify the characteristics of each individual property, and they're labeled as some of them cash buyer, right? And so what does that mean? It means that the conversation code can go two directions, three
Hmm.
really. One, you find somebody who's a retired real estate investor, or maybe they just bought a few properties cash and they're trying to sell one or sell two, right? Because the property's vacant. Or two, right? Let's say that you find somebody who wants to sell an entire portfolio and they're getting out of the business
Hmm.
completely. or maybe the person that you're trying to reach may be over the age of 65. Deal Machine may not have been able to pick it up, that they may have passed away already, right? Because when you think about the age of
Mhm.
65, you also have to take into consideration that after the age of 65, health declines. So these are different variables, right? Again, we're making art right now. Then the third one, well, you still get a cash buyer, man, right? So like now you're like, okay, I get it. You want to sell any of your properties. Well, look, I get properties around this area all the time. Are you still in the business of buying? Do you have any friends that are actively buying properties? You can give me their information. I can sit down with them, network with them, have a coffee with them, see if I can raise more capital for my wholesaling business. So I love going after this period because you can hit it in three different ways. The results are always going to be
So
there.
good.
How are you carrying the conversation?
Yeah, so good. And the cool thing, I mean, again, the point is to build the list, not just get lost in the data. But man, just a couple of things here. You'll see, hey, they bought this in 2015 for 39K. It's now worth significantly more. They're a senior owner. Maybe they want to cash out. They are a cash buyer potentially. Maybe they want to buy more, like you said. It's absentee and vacant. They own 15 properties. You can see that with their portfolio about the owner. And oh, by the way, you have the phone number and email to reach out right now. So you've got everything you need to tell you the story of this property. The key is, hey, how do we stack these data points to identify more owners like that? So,
Mm,
I'd say that's a great list right there for you. I'll say, the other thing, for a lot of the things that you just said there, I actually really like Tired Landlord as a list because it facilitates conversations in multiple ways. So the Tired Landlord list is 87 properties. That could be really, really solid too.
yep.
And so you've got the 55, add on another 87 right there, Caleb, and there we go. We're getting closer and closer to completing the homework. So,
That tired landlord list, there's indicators too. So if you guys are any
mhm.
bit confused as to what each individual list is, if you go over the question mark button on the quick filter, it'll explain exactly what that stack is. Because sometimes there's stacks within stacks. So like putting it over there, these are properties. Look, they're already giving you the parameters. They didn't ask you to go 15 years back. Deal Machine just does it at a click of a button. So again, tired landlords are people who have owned a property for 15 years or more, and they could possibly have an indication of selling. So this is a great list as well. If not, you could still raise cash buyers, which is great.
Fantastic. Awesome stuff, guys. So I'd love to see in the chat everybody is following along here. Good stuff. So I know we're coming up on time. Again, I know Q, are you sending out the replay today here for everybody?
I
As
am, yeah. So this is going to
okay,
be uploaded to YouTube and then released and sent to everybody via email who opted in. So yeah, guys,
amazing.
I got all of y'all. This is going to be great.
So we fantastic. So we taught you guys again. The homework's gonna be focused on list building. Q, I'll let you go into the details there, but it is you've got driving for dollars. You've got the virtual side we talked about. You've got the AI assisted side of it. Then we talked about list building, building in three phases, starting with that baseline of filters, then putting on property characteristics, then seller motivations. All of these things together gives you that playbook to turn an entire city of data, which you have access to now with the free trial, into identifying here are those 87 properties that are super likely to actually want to sell sooner than later. And so that was our goal here today, giving you that playbook we see working over and over again, whether you be working on the first deal, your 100th deal, or anywhere in between. Q, do you want to give them the homework here and the form to turn in and stuff?
Yeah, yeah. So Alex is going to drop the form for everybody here, guys. So from this point, I'm going to pause the recording. This is day one of July's first to deal challenge, my birthday month. I'm so excited, guys. So let me go ahead and pause the recording, and
Happy
then
birthday.
we're gonna answer everybody's questions. Matt might have to drop off right now because he has another challenge thing that he's doing. Deal Machine's always crazy, so I just know he has other things that he has going on. Okay, but he'll be
I
here.
will say, it would be cool for everybody that does the homework. I'm happy to invite them to like a follow-up Q&A that would be like a special Q&A. So maybe like after the 3 days are over, say, hey, everybody who did a homework assignment through this thing, if you actually are following along, like put in the effort, I'll do like a special Q&A session for you guys. Would that be cool? Like make that a
Come
little
on.
like extra incentive here?
Come on, guys. That's valuable right there. Like, let's do it. Okay,
There
let's
we
do
go.
it. We're gonna orchestrate that. I'll connect with Matt and we'll run this. All right. So from now, Matt, I'll take over. We'll pause the recording and then everybody will see y'all on the second day. But for the most part, stay in. I'm just gonna pause the recording from here. All right.
There we go. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks, Q. Thanks, Q.